Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Gather around because today we are breaking down a movie that has had my comment section, my WhatsApp groups, and the entire timeline absolute buzzing. We are talking about the hit Nollywood drama Gen Z Wife, starring the ultimate screen charmer Timini Egbuson as Ike and the absolute phenomenal chinenye nnebe as Betty. Now look, the moment you see a title like Gen Z Wife, you already know what you are getting yourself into, right? You're expecting a massive clash of cultures, Twitter finger arguments brought to life, and a whole lot of relationship drama. The film dives headfirst into what happens when modern New Age independent values completely collide with traditional Nigerian marriage expectation. But does the movie actually deliver a masterclass, or is it just another cliche story trying to cash in one generational buzzword? And more importantly, how did the chemistry between Timini and Chinenye hold up? Pull up your chair, don't skip a single second, because today we are doing an honest, unfiltered, deep dive review. By the time we hit the halfway mark, I'm going to tell you the exact scene where this movie either won me over or completely lost me. Let's get into the gist. Let's set the stage for the story. The movie introduced us to Ike, played by Timini Egbuson, and Betty, played by Chinenye Nnebe. They are young, they are deeply in love, and they decide to take the massive leap into holy matrimony. Sound beautiful, right? Wrong. Because the honeymoon phase ends before the cake even digests. Betty is the quintessential modern woman. She knows her rights, she has big career ambitions, she values her space, and she refuses to follow the old-school manual of being a submissive, suffering and smiling Nigerian housewife. Ike, on the other hand, might look like a modern guy on the outside, but deep down he still holds on to some very traditional expectation of what a wife should be doing in the house. The real meat of the story begins when the daily realities of marriage hit them, from who cooks the meal to how financial decisions are handled to how they react to family interference. Gen Z Wife takes all the arguments we see every day on social media and forces those two characters to leave them out. It's hilarious, it's frustrating, and honestly, at times, it hits a little too close to home. Now, let's talk about the performance, starting with Chinenye Nnebe. Can we just give this woman her flowers? Chinenye completely carried the weight of the Gen Z Wife personnel without making the character unlikable. It is very easy for a script like this to make the modern wife look like the villain, but Chinenye brings so much nausea, charm and vulnerability to Betty. When Betty is demanding her respect or standing her ground, you don't just see a stubborn girl. You see a young woman trying to protect her identity in a world that wants her to shrink. Chinenye's facial expression, that one is pure good. The side eyes she gives when traditional expectations are thrown at her are worth the watch alone. She made Betty relatable, and even when you don't completely agree with how Betty handles a situation, Chinenye's performance forces you to understand exactly where she's coming from. On the other side of the marriage certificate, we have Timini Egbuson. Now, we all know Timini as the smooth-talking lover boy, but in Gen Z Wife, he gives us a very different layer. He plays like a man caught in the middle. He loves his wife, he wants her to shine, but he also heavily influenced by societal pressures and extended family expectation. Timini plays the frustration of a young husband so well. You can see the internal battle of his performance, trying to balance being a modern partner while nursing his bruises ego when things don't go the traditional way. The chemistry between him and Chinenye is incredibly organic. They look like a real couple, which makes their arguments feel intensely real. When they fight, you are not just watching actors read a script, you actually feel like you are standing in their living room, awkwardly witnessing a real marriage hit the rock. So, what worked and what didn't? What worked beautifully was the relatability and the humor. The dialogue is sharp, witty, and captures the exact way young Nigeria speaks today. It forces the audience to ask tough questions. Is marriage outdated? How much should a partner compromise? Can a traditional mindset truly survive a modern relationship? However, where the movie stumbles slightly is the pacing in the second half. At 180 minutes, a few subplots and extended arguments felt a bit repetitive, like they were driving the same point home one too many times. Also, the resolution of the conflict felt a little bit rushed compared to how much time was spent building up the tension. But despite these minor flaws, the emotional core of the film remains solid. It gives us a beautiful reflection of the reality of 2026 dating and marriage culture. Final verdict: Gen Z Wife is an absolute must-watch, whether you're single, dating, and already married. There is a lesson, a laugh, and a reality check in this movie for everyone. Timini Egbuson and Chinenye Nnebe proved once again why they are absolute elite forces in Nollywood. They gave us a performance that we have people debating for a very long time. But I want to know what you guys think. If you have watched Gen Z Wife, whose side were you on? Were you Team Ike or Team Betty? Do you think Betty's expectations were too high, or was Ike just being too old school? Let's settle this in the comment section below. I will be down there replying to your thoughts. If you enjoyed this review gist, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you never miss our deep dives, and share this with your movie crew. Until next time, keep watching, stay entertained, and I will catch you in the next gist. Bye bye.